Yes, yes, boys. Ryjack back here for another live stream. It's a nice discussion on the Champions League today. It's some transfer updates to go over. Kind of decompress from the Spurs. I don't want to say disaster, but not great game. So it won't be too long tonight, but I do appreciate if you guys are new or watching on replay, hit me with a sub. Trying to get to 500 subs. Pretty close to that, so that'll be cool when we hit that. And I do have other socials: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, where I do other forms of content that's not on YouTube. So check that out if you are interested, of course. And most importantly, join the Discord. Discord link is right here. It's the pinned comment on this live stream on the video, and the description will have the Discord link as well. So join that if you are a Man City fan and want to just chop it up with some friends about what's going on and everything. So now I think we need to look at the fixtures that we have gotten. They are, I would say, there's something. I don't know. We've got, let's see here. Yeah, let's do that. We have home games, Borussia Dortmund. Not bad. It's kind of weird because every game almost has a little miniature storyline where it's almost like, how did they manage that? Where it almost feels too much like a coincidence, to be honest with you. Like Dortmund, we have Holland's return to Dortmund. Pretty cool. Then you have Leverkusen, also a home game. We get to see Echeverry, Echemessi, as they call him. We'll see him actually play some games, which is pretty cool. He maybe would not have gotten the game time should he have stayed at City, but should he impress, I guess. I don't know when these games are because we don't have that schedule yet, but he would potentially get to play against us. Rules are different than in the Premier League where you can't play against your parent club. In the Champions League, you can. You definitely can. Cancelo played against us a couple of years ago. So, pretty cool one there. Most intriguing game, probably for most City fans, is going to be KDB. Kevin De Bruyne himself will be returning to the Etihad. King Kev. Almost feels like it was written in the stars, to see Kev and Napoli come play at the Etihad. Hopefully he doesn't have too good of a game against us, but it will be very cool, I'm sure, for the match-going fans and City fans all over the place to get to watch Kevin De Bruyne one more time at the Etihad. Maybe, who knows, maybe it's not the last time. He could always continue on at Napoli and play there again next year, but surely this is one of the last few times you'll get to see him if you only go to the Etihad in person. So pretty cool. Galatasaray, again, another club with heavy storyline implications at the moment. They seem to be interested in half of our club, half of our players want, or Galatasaray trying to buy, whether it's Ederson or Gundogan or Akanji or Ake or whoever. There's big links to players in City going to Galatasaray. They also have Leroy Sané, as you can see on the graphic right here, which is pretty cool. Get to see him play again at the Etihad. Another return of maybe not our legend. I don't know if Leroy Sané is classed as a legend in that sense, but pretty cool to see Sané back in England playing. And it does seem like he was really fond, had his best moments of his career at City. So that's pretty cool. Then you have Madrid, and it is what it is. This would be the ninth. I think we've played them 9 times in the last 5 years. I read on Twitter today. So again, not surprising. It's always going to happen. For whatever reason, we just always play Madrid. Would have loved to play like Barcelona or someone, maybe like a big boy from Italy or Bayern, but no, it's always Madrid. It just always is Madrid, which, whatever. It is what it is. I don't really care. Hopefully this one is early in this, I guess, not group stage phase. Like, I don't know what they call it, the league phase now. I hope it's early and we get it out of the way. This one will be at the Bernabeu, which is, it's a tough one to go, tough place to go. But at this point, so many of our players have already been there multiple times. Like, maybe it won't be that big of an occasion, or too big of an occasion where, the Bernabeu intimidates people. I don't know that the team really feels like that anymore, to be honest with you. So I don't know. I don't know. But then you have Villarreal, who is, I guess the least of the storylines, no storylines of note that I can think of for Villarreal. Bodo Glimt, who is a Norwegian side, and I believe this will be the first time we've played in Norway, so in at least a while. So it's pretty cool. Holland gets to go play in his home country. Same for Oscar Bob, pretty cool. And then Monaco, not as many storylines there, but we bought Bernardo Silva from Monaco, and Florian Balogun, who's an American, plays for them, and I'm American, so that's my miniature storyline there. Pretty cool, I guess. The overall group stage is going to be tough. I have to say. Talsif, welcome to the stream, my guy. He says, "Bro, this is rigged. How do we always get Madrid?" It is a little bit sus. I can't lie that we always get Madrid. I don't think it's rigged. Because they do I feel like if it was rigged, it would be illegal to be rigged because there's so much money on the line for these clubs. But it does make you wonder, is it rigged? Is it rigged? I can't wait to see KDB back at the Etihad. I know, man, I know. I wish that I was able to have seen KDB play in person at the Etihad. That would have been one of the moments of my life. And I unfortunately was not able to do that. It's just too much money, but it is going to be cool for the people that do get to go. To the games. It's awesome. I'm sure they're loving that for sure to see Napoli come in. And again, Napoli's a really good team as well. I'm still waiting on Donnarumma. Man, to be fair, I think this one still happens. It's the one I'm most confident on. I'm very, I would say, hesitant to say that any other business gets done other than the goalies with Ederson out and Donnarumma in. I still have some confidence there. I think it's still likely that it happens. We can talk about that in just a bit. Hopefully we get revenge on Real Madrid. My guy, you and me both. I am desperate for some revenge on Madrid. I cannot stand Madrid. They are insufferable, I would say, is how I would describe them. Now, the thing to think about, I guess, is I'm looking here at the Champions League last year's Champions League, okay? So if you go to the table, and because you know how it's a big table of 36 teams, if you look, the top 8, that's what we're hopeful for. Top 8, that's what we want. That's what we want to get. Top 8 was minimum 16 points. 16 points gets you top 8. That's 4 wins. That's 5 wins. 5 wins is what you need. You need 5 out of 8 wins. That might be tough considering some of these games are tough. I mean, do we have 5 wins there? I think we probably do. You have Dortmund at home. I would think that's a game City would be favored to win. Are they going to win? You never know. Leverkusen, I would think they're favored to win as well. Same for Galatasaray, and maybe Napoli is a draw. So let's say we win 3 of our home games and draw 1. The away games, I don't think you can expect a win at Madrid. That's a tough one. At Bodo Glimt, you would surely be expecting a win. So that's a 4th win. And then 1 win between Villarreal and Monaco, I think, is a fair hope, I would say. So I would be hopeful we can get top 8. Do we get it? I don't know. But certainly, who misses the playoff entirely? 24. You needed 11 points to qualify. I would think we can get 11 points from that. Although I do think it's a tough one. In Turkey, the transfer window closes on mid-September. This is correct. The only, I guess, weird thing about that is I don't think City would sell Ederson after we've brought in Donnarumma. I think we have to sell Ederson first, and then Donnarumma comes in. So if it was the other way around, where we needed to buy Donnarumma first, and then we could, wait our time and take our time to get Ederson out, then it would make more sense. But at least to me, I think the deals have to happen simultaneously, and so the fact that they can do it later doesn't really help us, because let's say we don't get Donnarumma in because we haven't sold Ederson, and then we no longer have time to replace Ederson. I don't think then you sell Ederson a week, 2 weeks later into mid-September. I just don't think it makes sense. Maybe City don't care and they'll just run Trafford and Ortega. Again, I would be surprised if that was the case, if that happened. But the other option, I guess, you have is, do City know that they have more time to sell Ederson? Are they confident they can do that a couple of weeks more of negotiations, and they just buy Donnarumma anyway? They buy Donnarumma on deadline day or something like that, or the day before deadline day, and then they just bank on the fact that they're able to get rid of Ederson. But to me, that really drives your price down. You are banking on the fact that you'll be able to sell Ederson, but now Galatasaray know you absolutely have to sell Ederson. So they drop their price even more because we're kind of backed into a corner, I would say, for that one. So I don't know how it really works. My gut feeling, my brain tells me this drags on to deadline day, and Donnarumma comes in and Ederson leaves at the same time. Happens simultaneously, which I don't know if that's even like possible, really, but that is my gut feeling on what happens. I think we continue to wait, because I have said this before. What are we at? Thursday now? No one is obviously being signed to start this weekend. It's not going to happen. So we might as well just wait until the game this weekend is over with, and we figure out our business after the game, because no one's coming to play in this game on the weekend. So does Ederson start on Sunday? I don't know. Beats me, my guy. Beats me. But I don't know. I think City are going to push really hard to get this done, because I think it's pretty obvious this is what they want. They want Ederson to leave, and they want Donnarumma to be his replacement. Whether or not you like it or you don't like it, as fans, I know everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and there's a lot of differing opinions on everything, but I think it should be fine. I think this is the move. There was a report out there earlier, I'm going to see if I can find it here and show you, that I thought was pretty funny. They asked Hugo Viana today about transfer business, and he said, we're working, whatever. So it looks like Twitter might be down at the moment, actually. I'm over here scrolling, and I'm getting nothing. But where is it? Here it is. I've got it right here for you guys. Tolmy, who's an alleged ITK type source. I don't know if people believe him anymore. He's gotten some things right. He's gotten some things wrong. But he tweeted, I can't take Spurs seriously after trying to force the sale of Savinho. They've asked about the possible availability of Doku, Ake, and Marmouche. And for me, I mean, I am about this Doku deal. I would be all over if this was an accurate report. If Spurs are like, what's it take to sell Doku? I'd be like, bro, we will take, just give us our money back. Whatever we spent on Doku, 60 mil, you just give us that, Doku's yours. I would be over the moon with that one. And I said that on Twitter, and people were not happy with me. They say I have a Doku agenda. I don't have a Doku agenda. I just don't think he's that good, personally. I think Savinho is much, much better than Jeremy Doku. And in a way, I'm happy Savinho is staying. I, of course, would have, if it was up to me, I would have upgraded with Rodrigo over keeping Savinho, but that seems not to be available. But now if you think about it, Rodrigo over Doku is an even bigger upgrade. So while I don't think that's happening, and I don't think this has any chance of happening, because I think City just despise Spurs and don't want to do business with them at all, I thought it was funny. And I don't know. I think most City fans probably would be open to that. I know there's like a small, maybe not small, maybe small is the wrong word. There's a section of City fans that are these Doku lovers who just, for whatever reason, no matter what he does, they think he's amazing. They'd probably be upset. But I don't personally feel that way. Tulsi says, do you think Rodrigo will start against us? This is a good, fair question. I think it depends on when that game is. Depends on when that game is, because I don't think we get the schedule until Saturday, maybe. If the game is early on, I would say probably he does. Just because he's got the Champions League experience. Is Xabi Alonso going to put Masantuono at right wing in a Champions League game against Man City? I don't know. But if it's later down the line and Rodrigo has had like a falling out or anything, I think that's more likely later down the line that he would not actually start and he's not going to be playing. And maybe eventually there's a revisit of this Rodrigo to City thing, even if it's in January or next summer. Because next summer, I think he'll only be 25, and we're still going to have the same issue of we need an upgrade on the wing because we didn't buy anyone this summer. So someone next summer for City as a winger, I think, will be moved on. I don't know that for a fact, but I think Doku will struggle this year, not get the minutes that he wants, and he will ask to move. Maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it will be Marmoush who doesn't get the minutes, or maybe it'll be Savinho, or maybe Oscar Bob. But one of those guys, of those four, I think will leave the club next summer. The club will have to do something about that and replace with a big name, big high quality player. I don't mean big name in like we need a big name. I need a big name in the fact that we need a big time player to be a winger. So who is it? Rodrigo? Maybe. Is it Michael Olise? I think that would be a name that like shoots to the top of the list next season probably. But I don't know. It's a good question though for sure. If Savinho plays on the left, he will cook. He got 6 GA in 4 games when playing on the left, but playing on the right wing, he is awful/average. I somewhat agree. He was very good in the limited games that he played on the left. However, Omar Marmoush is not good on the right. I think that's fair comment to say. And I think Marmoush is better on the left than Savinho is on the left, if that makes sense. So I don't like the idea of playing Marmoush on the right. I guess you could, in theory, not play Marmoush and play Savinho on the left, but it seems like Pep likes Doku on the left and Savinho on the right, so we can have these inverted wingers. A lefty on the right-hand side, a righty on the left-hand side. Whether or not that is what we should be doing is definitely a question. Pep doesn't play him in his right position. You don't think so, man, huh? I don't know. I do agree Savinho was good on the left. He had that fantastic cross to Haaland for a goal. He was able to score on the left-hand side. His only Premier League goal came on the left-hand side. So, I don't know. I'm open to playing Savinho on the left and playing Doku on the right, to be honest, and just getting more like removing this cut inside aspect of what the wingers do. But I don't know that Pep is going to be doing that. Like, I would be pretty surprised if we see that. Remember that performance against West Ham when we beat them 4-1 at the Etihad? I do. That was fantastic. Savinho cooked. I remember on the assist, he, I think it was Soufal, the right back for West Ham, where he megged him or he knocked the ball around him and then he ran right past him and crossed it into Haaland. That was fantastic. One of our best goals, actually, like visually, aesthetically pleasing wise last season for me was that one. And it was Savinho on the left. So I think it's a great thing to think about. Savinho on the left. Are we going to do it? Unfortunately, I feel like we're just not going to do it. I feel like he's going to be stuck out on the right because, he's number 26. Pep wants these inverted wingers, and ideally he becomes the next Riyad Mahrez. Is that fair? Probably not, because Riyad Mahrez is the City's best ever winger, for me at least. I know there's some people who will say Leroy Sané was fantastic, or Raheem Sterling was fantastic, or, some of the old people will say there was people even before the takeover. But for me, from what I've seen with my own eyes, no winger was better than Riyad Mahrez was. as a winger for City. Pulling up Savinho's transfer market here, I'm kind of curious to see his minutes and whatnot, his breakdown. I don't know why it doesn't tell me exactly like the games he's played. Let's see. Let's go with all seasons, maybe. I don't use Transfermarkt a whole lot, but I know that you can see that there it is. So he's played 57 games on the left and 57 games on the right in his career. And I would say it's not even that difficult to look at these numbers and figure out which one he's better at. From the right, in his 57 games, he's got 4 goals and 8 assists. On the left, in his 57 games, he's got 11 goals and 14 assists. So, I mean, he goes from 12 GNA in 57 to 25 GNA in 57. He more than doubles his output when he plays on the left versus on the right. So, I mean, I don't know. That's pretty clear to me. I'm curious, while I have that up, I'm curious what Doku's situation is, if that's the same, if it's similar. When will Ederson join Galatasaray? In the UK, it closes on the 1st of September, 7 p.m., but in Turkey, it closes on the 13th September, but I don't know what time. I'll be honest, I don't know. I think it happens on deadline day. That is my take. I think it's on deadline day. According to Fabrizio Romano, the only way John Marino can join is if Ederson joins Galatasaray. This is correct. I've seen Fabrizio Romano tweet that like 1,000 times. If you look at Doku, he plays on the left. He's played 83 games, 15 goals, 18 assists. On the right, he's played 79 games, 12 goals, 12 assists. So he's a little bit less impactful on the right, Doku, if we're going to consider this swap. But he's definitely more impactful on the other side than Savinho is on the other side, I would say. And this is based on the sample size of their entire playing career. This is not just at City. So, I don't know, man. It is a confusing one. It does feel like they're playing the wrong position, what do I know? I'm just a fan who has ideas, you know? I'm not a certified soccer coach who's coached Barcelona and won the treble at multiple clubs. So, like, it's a tough one for me, but I definitely think the idea of swapping them around is a solid idea that should, by these stats here, be fruitful and would be a successful thing. I don't know. It makes sense to me. That's all I'll say. I think it makes sense to a lot of the chat people who come through, because I've had that question multiple times, and that's the first time I've looked at the numbers like that, but makes sense to me, man. Makes sense to me. Anyway, there's, as of right now, as of what I'm aware, not much else on the transfer front. I think Akanji is still happening. I say happening. I think he's still going to leave. I don't know where he's going to leave. I think potentially Bayer Leverkusen, I've heard, is up there in interest, and he would want to go there over other clubs just because they're playing Champions League and they're a good competitive side. You probably want to be joining Bayer Leverkusen over like Crystal Palace if you have the choice. So that might be one that happens. Gundogan could potentially still leave as well. It's been a little bit quiet, but again, he missed last match day squad. He wasn't even on the bench. If that happens again this weekend, if he doesn't even make the bench, maybe there's something there where he thinks, maybe it is a good time to head out. So that is something for sure to consider. There was also a nice rumor. I don't know that it is accurate, but I will put it here just because it's out there. Alexander-Arnold has fallen out of favor at Madrid. Carvajal is going to be the undisputed starter at right back. City are monitoring the situation ahead of a potential move in 2026. This is via caught offside. Who knows if this is a good source at all, but I will say, for all the doubters out there, Trent at City would be the most Pep-coated right back in the history of Pep coaching. He would absolutely cook for City. He doesn't have to defend ever because we have the ball 75% of the game. And we would be able to put a solid, base of our defense around him. So we would be able to essentially ensure that he is, for the most part, able to play right back, get up and down the pitch, and swing balls into Holland. And I think he would be outstanding. This would also be great just because it would piss off Liverpool fans to the nth degree. People, they would be so thoroughly upset at him, even more than they already are, for leaving on a free. Or I guess a free, because he did go for, a negligible fee, like $5 million or whatever, for 2 weeks of early work. I don't know that this is accurate or not, but there was interest in Trent. There was quotes about Pep loving him from years ago. So I just like to put it out there that I thought it was interesting. And we do need a right back. So they're not going to get one this summer. Maybe next summer is the one we go for, and maybe it's Trent. That would be something crazy if it did happen. Not that I think it will, but it's at least out there. Anyway, we are pushing the 30-minute mark, so that is most of the transfer news, unless anybody in the chat has any specific questions. I'm going to wrap it up there. Like I said, I think we will see more business before the window ends. I think Ederson leaves on deadline day, and Donnarumma comes in on deadline day. There's Kobe Mainoo leaving United potentially. I would love it if Kobe Mainoo went to City. Don't think that'll happen, obviously, but he is one I would also love at City. Don't really care that he played for United. I think he's fantastic and would be very, very good for City. So anyway, that is the stream for today. I do appreciate it, guys. Like I said, you can join the Discord. The link is right here. It's the pinned comment on the live chat here, and it's in my channel description. If you're interested, City fans everywhere from all over the place are in that Discord, so we are looking forward to seeing you, and hop in there if you're interested. Also, like I said, hit me with a sub. We're going for 500. Getting close to that. That would be fantastic to hit. And I also have other socials, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Those are all in the channel description as well. So I do appreciate you guys watching. I will be back soon for my Brighton preview. That'll probably be tomorrow evening. And yeah, unless